Held without bail, the mother and her 19-year-old daughter accused of murdering their family members are staying behind bars today. They've allegedly confessed to their crime, saying everyone, even the 3 children, wanted to die. It is Tuesday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Shari Williams. The big story on Action News is the new details that we are learning about the 5 people murdered in Morrisville, Bucks County.
Action News has team coverage today at 4 o'clock. Maggie Kent is in the neighborhood, but we'll begin now with Walter Perez.
And he's live at the district attorney's office in Doylestown. And Walter, this case is rattling investigators.
No doubt about it, Shari and Brian. Authorities say it'll be weeks before they can determine exactly how the victims were killed in this case. Investigators say it seems at least 2 of them were strangled, but at this point they simply don't know. But what they do know at this point, at least what they say they think they know, is who did it.
Authorities say 45-year-old Shana and her 19-year-old daughter Dominique have confessed to the horrific murders of 5 members of their own family. Morrisville Police Chief George McClay says these are the kinds of cases that haunt police officers.
It's a sad day for us. As much as I've seen over my career, this is the saddest case I've ever had.
It was yesterday afternoon when police got the call from a social worker who went to the Decree family apartment on West Bridge Street to see how they were doing. The caseworker reported that the suspects seemed disoriented. Investigators quickly arrived to find the remains of the 5 dead victims in another room. The youngest were 13 years old and 9-year-old twins. Bucks County DA Matt Weintraub says he has a pretty good idea how this crime unfolded. The question that lingers is, what could have possibly been the motive?
As confusing as it was last night, we are no closer to understanding that in the harsh light of day. We will continue to pursue every lead and to work this case to its just conclusion.
During questioning, not only did the suspects reportedly say they wanted to be dead, they also said the victims wanted to die as well. So we asked Chief McClay if he thinks this is some kind of twisted murder case. He says that's doubtful.
2 9-year-olds can't make that decision, and a 13-year-old. So I think that's, is that something in the adults' minds? I don't know, but it's surely not in 9-year-old minds.
Now, authorities say there were 8 people living inside that tiny apartment, the 2 suspects and the 5 victims. The 8th person was one of the victims' sons. We can report that he was not there at the time of the murders, and today he was found by investigators uninjured.
In a Morrisville, Pennsylvania inner-city neighborhood, tucked away within the Robert Morris Apartments, a chilling tale of brutality unfolded. 2 women emerged as the perpetrators of an unspeakable horror. Shana S. Decree, a 45-year-old mother, and her 19-year-old daughter, Dominique Decree, stood at the center of a horrific massacre. Their guilt etched in the shadows of 5 innocent lives extinguished, including those of 9-year-old twin girls. The killers were not strangers to the victims. They knew them very well. They were their own family members. The true extent of the horror was laid bare as the relatives' bodies were discovered inside the apartment. The victims, 25-year-old Nara Smith, who was Shana Decree's daughter, and Dominique Decree's big sister. 13-year-old Damon Decree Jr., who was Shana S. Decree's son, and Dominique Decree's little brother, as well as 42-year-old Jamila Campbell, who was Shana Decree's sister and Dominique Decree's aunt. And Campbell's twin daughters, Imani Allen and Erica Allen, both 9 years old. The brutal crime unfolded with chilling details as authorities pieced together the events leading to the grim discovery. Inside the apartment, mental illness reigned, a reflection of the turmoil and pain that had engulfed the innocent lost lives by 2 of its inhabitants. The authorities' attention was now focused on the 2 women, who were the only 2 people alive in the apartment, a woman named Shana and a young woman named Dominique, Shana's daughter. They were both found lying unresponsive in a bedroom. Once they started talking about what happened and why everyone was dead, they offered conflicting accounts to the police. However, there was one harrowing truth that emerged, a delusion of death shared by the disturbed mother and daughter. Shana Selena Decree would later reveal it was a pact she shared with her daughter that sealed the fate of all who lost their lives in this terrible tragedy. They told the police that all of their family members who were killed in the apartment wanted to die and had been talking about, including Campbell's young daughters. Children wanting to die and talking about was not a statement that authorities found credible. The Decrees murdered their family members over the course of 3 days. Initially, the two women told police that they did not know anything about the murders of their relatives. Subsequently, Shana accused her sister's boyfriend and two unknown men of breaking into the apartment and killing everyone except for her and her daughter. It wasn't long after the massacre that relatives began to express their belief that the mass murder possibly could have been a ritualistic cult ceremony. However, police looked into this theory and did not find any evidence to verify these claims. Reportedly, Shana Decree had become more isolated and was struggling with mental delusions. She was convinced that the world was coming to an end and that there were demons in her home which she had to obey. Decree's lawyer Dunleavy said the family made attempts at helping her, but it was to no avail because her delusions were too strong. After the murders, Shana and Dominique both said they were horrified by their actions and were remorseful. They also expressed how they did not understand how the killings happened. Dominique and Damon Jr.'s father, Damon Decree Sr., described the pain of losing two children in this tragedy. He'll never see his son again, and his daughter must serve a lifetime in prison. Decree Sr., heartbroken and grappling with the tragic loss of a child, stated, "The bottom line is, I didn't do the #1 job a parent has, I didn't keep him safe. I may not have been the best dad, but no one deserves this." Ronald Smith, father of Nara, also expressed the grief and frustration he felt through a written statement that was read in the courtroom. In this statement, he spoke of how his daughter planned to get married and how much he looked forward to that day. After Shana and Dominique were arrested, court-appointed psychologists and psychiatrists determined that the women suffer from severe mental illness, such as schizoid personality disorder, major depressive disorder, and PTSD. They were aware of their mental issues, and both had tried getting help through mental health treatment at various times in their lives, and at times the treatment had been successful, with other times not being successfully treated. Dominique started getting help for her mental illness as young as 5 years old. In the eyes of the law, and for the families, justice demanded retribution, tempered by the acknowledgement of mental illness. Shana and Dominique Decree, deemed guilty but mentally ill, faced the weight of their actions. The sentence delivered, 5 consecutive terms of life in prison, echoed with the solemnity of lives lost and futures shattered. As the courtroom drama unfolded, a sense of sorrow mingled with outrage. In the aftermath of the sentencing, a community grappled with the aftermath of incomprehensible loss. As the echoes of the courtroom faded, a somber reflection remained, of lives cut short, of a family torn asunder by the grip of madness. In the shadow of tragedy, a fragile hope lingered, a prayer for hope amidst the ruins of broken dreams and shattered lives.
Action News cameras are at the Robert Morris Apartments on West Bridge Street in Morrisville. So are dozens of police from Morrisville and other agencies. They've got a fateful question to answer. What killed the 5 people found dead early tonight on a bedroom floor? It is Monday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is breaking news from Bucks County, a huge mystery over 5 suspicious deaths. Action News reporter Dan Quayer is live at the scene. Dan, what have you been able to find out?
Well, Jim, the news got worse here less than an hour ago. First, police thought they had 4 bodies inside a ground floor apartment here at the Robert Morris complex. Then the Morrisville Borough Police Chief updated me to tell me they found yet another body. 5 bodies inside the apartment. They are all being called suspicious deaths. And then we have 2 other women who were inside the apartment who were rushed to the hospital in unknown condition, but they're still alive. A neighbor and friend of the victims was hysterical upon arriving on scene here in the 200 block of West Bridge. Earlier, someone had asked police to do a wellness check on the people in the ground floor apartment after they had not been seen in a while. Police now say they found 5 people dead in a bedroom. 2 other women found in the apartment breathing with a pulse and rushed to the hospital.
Oh God, I told them of it.
A neighbor who lives next door says a woman in her 40s lives there with her children, a 14 and 21-year-old adult.
We minister, you know, the word of God and things like that, but I haven't talked to her in a week, and that's kind of crazy.
Some neighbors say they thought it was odd that the trash was piling up outside their apartment door and had not been carried to the dumpster because they were very diligent about doing so. And neighbors say they hadn't noticed any movement coming in and out of the apartment in the hours leading up to the discovery.
It's creepy. I've been living here over 20 years. I've never seen anything like this before.
I want to know what's going on because it really hurts. Like, it really hurts. Like, 4 people, 2 people, 1 person, it don't even matter. We need to know what's going on in our community. We need to know that we safe.
And tonight, the crime scene has really grown with all sorts of equipment that has arrived on location as they continue to process the scene. Just a few moments ago, the Bucks County DA and the Morrisville Borough Police Chief pulled out of here to go and brief family members of the victims. They're of the Morrisville Borough Police Department as we speak now.